Okay, let's start this video, and we're going to go through the majority of what I'm expecting for the tutorial 1. I don't need the realistic views that are at the end of the tutorial if you don't get that far, although those are things that a lot of students like to be cool with, but it's available if you want it. If not, that's fine too. So we're going to start out. Go up to here where it says SolidWorks. And we're going to hit the home. Now what we want to do is we want to do some learning, so we're going to learn, and we're going to this tutorials with the step-by-step interactive instructions. That's going to put these instructions up to the left. Note we've got an intro to SolidWorks. Nice handy thing, shows you where various stuffs are. The difference between AutoCAD and SolidWorks, that's fine. But what we actually want to do is this lesson 1 parts today. So we're going to click on that. Should take about 30 minutes. I'm hoping to get done sooner than that. This basically tells you what we're going to do. We're going to set up a new part, create the base feature, add fillets, add shell, and get that completed part. And we're going to advance to each step down here where it says next topic. So we click that, and we want to start by a new document. Now if you're not sure where the buttons are, come over here on the button on the command and click it, and notice that it pops up here where it's expecting you to be doing the work. So let's create a new document. That new document should be a part. Double click that. Up comes a parts sheet. Cool. The first thing it wants us to do is save it, and we're going to call this tutorial 1 or lesson 1 or something like that, something so that we can find it later. We'll hop right there, tutorial 1. So first we're going to create this base. We're going to start by saying extrude boss base. So we're going to create the base, we're going to extrude it. We want to place it someplace. We're going to place it on one of these planes because we don't have any other feature to associate it with. I've got the right plane, I've got a front plane, I've got a top plane. I'm going to place it on the front plane. There it is, rotated through. We're going to create a rectangle. That's done right here. Once again, if I wasn't sure, I could click right there and it'd show me. I want to do a corner rectangle, and I'm highlighting, putting the pointer right over the origin there because that will allow me to lock it down. SolidWorks tries to do things to help you along. Sometimes it does too much. When it does that, it creates constraints you don't mean, but I very explicitly want this constraint. I want this locked down to the origin. So I'm going to start by the origin. Click once for the first point. Click. And then I'm going to move it out here and click a second time for the second point. Life is good. So we're still in rectangle mode, as you can see, so we can undo that by clicking rectangle again. We can hit enter I generally hit the escape button. The escape button is my happy button for everything through here. Make sure I'm over. Hit the escape button and I am out of rectangle mode. Okay, now what I want to do, I note here, I've got this mark here which says those things are coincidence. They are locked together. I have these two edges locked as horizontal, these two edges locked at vertical. I've got a rectangle. Life is very good. Let's dimension this. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to mention this side to 120. And this side to 120. And now notice everything's turned black here. Let me hit escape, get out of Smart Dimension. Everything's turned black. That means it's locked down. So this corner is at the origin. This length, because both of these are horizontal and both of these are vertical, this length is forced to be 120. So I've got a line that starts at the corner and goes 120. There's nothing else it can be. Similarly, I've got another line here, starts at that point, goes vertically 120. It's locked down. It can't be anything else. So it's black. And then down here I've got where it says fully defined. Life is good. Okay, let's exit out of the sketch mode. And remember, I started this by saying extrusion. So it's exiting out of the sketch and going straight towards the extrusion pane. In the extrusion, I want to go from the sketch plane. I want it to go blind. I want it to do just what I tell it. Don't look, just do it. And I'm going to say come out here 30. The units are in inches for this one. And click OK. There it is. I'm going to make sure that I click shaded with edges to make this thing happy. I could have got that here in the display style. Shaded with edges would have got me there. Now, let's put this boss on here. I'm going to, once again, extrude a boss base. Now here, I'm going to either select a plane, or in this case, I'm actually going to select this face, because I'm going to put this thing on this face. Click. I'm going to create a circle. Like that. Now, for Smart Dimensions, I want this circle to be a diameter of 70. So I'm going to dimension it. I'm going to come up here to the right and set that dimension to 70. Notice I'm still blue. I'm not black. I'm not fully defined. I'm underdefined here. That's because although this edge is 70 from the center, I haven't located where the center is. So let me locate where that center is. Here I'm going to use Smart Dimension still, and I'm going to use it to set the distance between two items. So I'm going to go from the center to the top, and I'm going to make that 60. And I'm going to go from the left side to the center, and I'm going to make that 60. Now I've locked the center down in place, and I have the distance from the center of all those points locked in place. As a result, I'm now fully defined. Let us exit that. Okay, I'm going to get a better view of this. Isometric. I will exit the sketch. Now I'm doing this turning by holding the center mouse button down, and it gives me a better view of what I'm doing. Here, I don't want this out. I don't want this out 30. I want this out 25. There we go, 25. Cool beans. And now it looks like this. Note that Boss Extrude 2 now exists in my feature list. Now I'm going to cut a hole in it. So I'm going to use the extruded cut. That's what I'm going to use to cut a hole. I'm going to do it on this plane here. And I'm going to put a circle in here. So start to draw that circle. I'm going to make sure it finds the center point. Comes out here about 25 inches, somewhere in there. Let's use Smart Dimension to nail that down at 50. And once again, it's nice and black. Note that I've set this coincident point up. I've actually said that the center of this circle should be the same place as the center of this other circle. So let's exit. And now for the cut, instead of blind, I'm going to say I want it to go through all. So that I can see that that cut goes all the way through. That's what I wanted it to do. And now we're going to do some fillets. Let's zoom this to full zoom. Let's put some fillets in place. Okay. This is actually suggesting that we start by clicking on that surface, and we're going to put fillets in there. The fillets are going to be 5 inches. Okay. Notice it's got millimeters in here all the way. We didn't set our units up to millimeters, so inches is fine. So I'm also then going to select these 4 edges. Let's get this edge, this edge, this edge, that edge down there. The 4 edges, let's call that good. Notice those nice fillets. Notice that because I selected this face, I got all 4 of these sides plus the fill in there. Now let's do sort of the same thing for these sharp edges here, but instead of 5 millimeters, I want these at 1.5. So once again, fillet. We'll select that face. Notice that at 5 it looks ugly. At 1.5, there we've got a nice soft edge to it. Okay. Okay, let's shell this thing. What we're going to do, you see, is cut out all this inner material. So let's rotate this around so I can see that back edge. We're going to shell this. There's shell. We're going to click where we want to insert our scoop or our chisel or whatever it is we're going to use to shell this thing out. That surface right there. For the thickness, I want the thickness to be 2. Let's see this in a preview, see what it's going to look like. That looks about right. So, select the back face, click, hit enter, life is good. Okay, let's go to the trimetric view. Wait one. Let's go to the trimetric view. And we're going to create a section view. So section view is over here in the MDB screen. I think it's also here. I can select it. Now I want the section view is where I'm going to cut through to see this. Now realize I'm not actually going to cut this thing, I'm just going to show the view as if it were cut so that I can see some stuff. So what plane do I want to slice through this to get rid of half of it? Well, instead of using this front plane, let's use the top plane. And I've got it kind of set to the bottom. Let's pull it up so that I see what I want to see. I'm going to say right about there. That's kind of what I wanted to see in my section view. How cool is that? Now, of course, if I want to get rid of this, I'll just clear it out because the original part is all still there. Now, what I would like you to do here, for purposes of what we're doing to create our homework submission, at this point, once again, I want this in isometric view, so let's change our display style, or rather our view, to isometric. My display style, I want to be hidden lines visible. See how I'm going to be able to see all that very cool stuff? So now I want to use my snipping tool. Come here. SN snipping tool. That puppy right there. I'm going to create new. Now I want this word isometric to be visible. So I'm going to go from here up to there, and there's my snipping tool. Now I can in here I can copy, and now when I create a Word document, oh, I don't have Word up where I can get at it easy. So when I create my Word document, it'll be, Mr. J, ECE 103, Tutorial 1, and I'll hit Control V to paste it. And there's a nice, once again, I can see isometric, I can see all those hidden lines. Life is good. This is the document I want you to submit.